Hello guys, Stay Patient here, feeling a bit croaky today, but we're going to power through with our Deus Ex Mankind Divided, FOXIEST of the Hounds, and PACIFIST walkthrough guide. Today we're going to be doing mission number 13, but this mission does involve you leaving Prague for the second time, so as with the Golem City mission, you want to make sure you've completed everything that can be completed in Prague before leaving, because there are certain side missions and also ebook collectibles that are only accessible during your second visit to the city. So make sure you've got everything that you want to get done finished. Even if you're just trying to get the ebooks, let's say you've already done all the side mission related trophies, if you're trying to collect all the collectibles, then you will want to complete the Harvester side mission, which is side mission number 10, I believe, because once you do that, as long as you make the right choice at the end of the mission, that's going to give you access to the last harvest side mission, which is number 11. That's going to be during your third visit to Prague. That's only going to be available if you have completed the harvester during your second visit. And the reason you want to do this is because during the last harvest, side mission 11, there are two collectibles that are otherwise missable. They will only show up if you have that mission active. So if you're trying to get all the ebooks, make absolutely sure that you have definitely done the Harvester mission during your second visit to Prague before leaving for g.a.r.m. Anyway, here we are guys, mission 13. It's going to plonk us down here on the map and we're going to be in the snow. Now I do like snowy levels in games. They can always sort of tend to make the levels look really pretty with snow because there's a lot of the same colour, and so the graphics always tend to look good when there's snow involved for some reason. But we're going to hack our way into the door here, and then there's going to be a cutscene which I'll be skipping. Now I will be covering all of the collectibles during this mission. There are 3 ebooks that we need to collect. We are going to be grabbing them all and staying undetected throughout, which could be tricky depending on how you approach them. But we're going to be taking routes that make this very nice and easy. Now there's an important decision here. We get to choose whether to call Vega or Miller and sort of inform one of them as to our situation here. We're a bit stranded at the moment. And there are a lot of guides that tell you need to contact Vega. And the reason for that is because if you contact Miller, apparently it sets off an automatic alarm later in the mission. Now I'm not 100% sure whether those alarms that are sort of automatically triggered or kind of already going off when you enter an area, I'm not sure if they do actually negate the trophy. I have reason to believe that they don't, based on my experience, and I'm not going to explain why because we'd be here all day. But, obviously it's an easy choice to make. Choosing Miller, there's no upside to choosing Miller, so we are going to just choose Vega, just in case. Now, the first collectible is in this room. There is also a missable trophy in this room. The trophy is called Core Driller, and so make a save when you're here. You can get that trophy, and it sort of creates a shortcut, but we're not going to take that shortcut because apparently that can also negate the trophy. So I recommend making a save before climbing this ladder, and you're going to sort of get that trophy, which involves just moving a crane around using the terminal in that room, and then reload your save and carry on. And we're going to jump up here onto this beam and bypass pretty much all the enemies. If you sort of pan around here, I actually used my smart vision to see if I could show you all the enemies, because there are a lot here, but they're all too far away to show up. But this place is crawling with enemies, a lot of which have got augmented powers just like us, so it makes them a bit tougher to deal with, of course. Now we are going to make buy some augments here, and the first one I'm going to purchase is the Icarus Dash, and we need to buy both upgrades for this if we're going to be able to take this shortcut. So we're going to purchase both of them, and I'm also going to buy one that you've probably got by now because it's very, very useful. It's just I haven't been relying on it. It's the Glass Shield Cloaking, and because I've got enough points available, I'm also going to buy the 2 upgrades that limit the amount of energy that the cloaking uses, allowing you to stay cloaked for longer. If you've got enough points, go ahead and buy those 2 upgrades for it as well. And if you have still more points left over, I did decide to buy the Vision Feedback upgrade for the Waypoint marker system, whatever it's called. You'll be able to see it, maybe pause it there and make sure you're buying the right one. But it's the one that shows you everyone's sort of cone of vision, or the enemies, where they can see, so you can make sure to stay out of those cones. And now I just made a save, and I'm going to sort of map the dash move to my L1 button, just to make it easier to kind of move my aim around, because when you're using it, it's quite temperamental. You need to get that icon on screen, the little hand. When you do that, it will grab hold of the ledge. Now I do recommend possibly making a save on each one of these little girder things, because you know, this is very temperamental, this move. It can very easily just drop you, even though it's got the sort of hand icon on screen. So if you make a save, obviously you can just reload and carry on if you do drop down, if you do fall. But we're going to get all the way across here. Very handy, this you know, this particular org in certain situations. And then we're going to use a different icon. That little icon of a guy in cover, if you use that, is going to launch you into the cover that you're aiming at. And let's have a look here. We're going to hack this door, and the reason we're coming this way is partly because you can get through the mission nice and easily coming this way anyway, but also because there is a collectible in this room. So we don't necessarily need to come this way if you don't need the eBooks, but it's no harder really, so you might as well follow my lead. Once this has been hacked, it's going to take a while because I think we've got some firewalls active. Oh no, they're level 8 nodes, which is why it's taken so long. But there's no one here that's going to see you. It's all fine. We're going to move into this room, and the second ebook collectible is on the desk there, so be sure to grab that. And while I'm here, I'm not going to worry about all the loot. Obviously you can spend time in here picking everything up. I am going to search this weapons briefcase though, just because it's got some stun ammo and Tranq ammo in, and they're the two weapons that obviously I'm relying on. Although to be honest, I've got so much ammo for both because we've pretty much, we haven't used either weapon very much at all, you know. During this playthrough, I could probably count on one hand the number of bullets or rounds, whatever you want to call them, that I've fired. There is some more ammo here and some parts and things. We're going to grab the Tranq Hammer and the crafting parts. Obviously you can grab whatever you like. We're going to now make a save because we're going to be smashing through this vent, and you don't want anyone to hear you, so just in case they do, you've got a save to go back to. Now the frame rate went a bit funny there. I had a look around using my smart vision because that's going to let us know if anyone is nearby, and they weren't, so we're all safe. And once you get through, you're going to smash through this as well to turn the breaker off. And that's going to turn off the electricity in this pipe, and we're going to use this pipe as a shortcut to bypass a large section of the level. Now I have read somewhere that you can't take anyone out in that first big room, which we didn't anyway, but apparently that for some reason, you know, there might be an alarm that sets off later. If you do take any of those enemies out, you could pop out that door there if you want, but we're going to keep right on going because we're heading for a third, you know, a third collectible. We've got a third ebook to grab. So just time these sort of electrical charges, or whatever you want to call them. Just make sure you time it so you move through, you know, when they're turned off. But you'll see that I got damage there. It's not going to instantly kill you if you do get hit. That's fine. You just take a bit of damage. Now we're in a room here, or a warehouse with a lot of people. We're going to shut the blinds and we're going to hack this camera. Now this is where the glass shield cloaking starts to come in useful. And we're literally going to use the cloaking just to move from cover to cover, as most people do. You know, this is, you know, a technique that people will use throughout the whole game. I didn't want to use it all the way through because it just makes things a bit boring, and it moves quite slow as well because you're constantly having to wait for your energy to recharge. So the routes we've been using up until this point haven't required the cloaking. We've only just bought it. But we're going to come into this room and there's going to be 3 guys, and because we've got the, oh, there is a camera there that I almost forgot about. Because we've got the upgrade that gives us the sort of cone of vision of each enemy on screen, these types of sections are made a lot easier because you can tell where people are and which direction they're looking in. But you do need to bear in mind that the cone doesn't take into account walls and things like that. So even though you might be within the cone of vision, you know, if they're behind a piece of cover, then they're still not going to see you. So you do need to be aware of where the cover is. We're just going to use our cloaking again to come over here, but don't go too far around because the camera might see you. Now the third collectible is actually on this table that we are up against right now. And as you can see, there's a guy sat on the table, and he's right next to the ebook. So we're not going to go around to the other side and grab it like we normally would. We're actually going to have to climb up onto the table. So we're going to turn the camera off, and then just keep your eye on the actual, the map there, and wait for the guy in the middle. There's three guys here. There's one either side that doesn't move, and then there's one in the middle. Keep an eye on his cone, because the guy on the other side can't see you. There's plenty of cover between you and him. That guy just on the right there that you can see in the screen in the distance, he is the one that moves back and forward. So make sure he's moving to the right before you jump up, and make sure you're crouched when you jump as well, so that it doesn't make any noise. And of course we are going to, once we've grabbed that ebook, we're going to keep going, keep using our hacking, hacking the camera, and keep using our cloaking device. And that way we can easily make our way out of this room and not be spotted. There's not too many guys in here. You want to take cover up here. We're going to run forward now. I was a bit reckless there. I probably should have waited for the camera to turn. Thankfully it didn't see me. But now that you know it's there, you might want to take your time with that a bit. What we're going to be doing though is there's a guy there, and I was a bit worried. I was kind of trying to gauge how far away he was to see if any noise I made would attract him or alert him. So we're going to hack the camera, and this did work out fine, which is why I left it in. We are going to grab this big crate here and put it down carefully, sort of look at the ground, put it down nice and carefully. We're going to push the button, and then that guy is going to, or someone is going to kind of turn around. It might have been the camera actually. Oh no, it wasn't the camera. Something almost saw us. But if you stay crouched and sort of behind those two big crates that we moved, then you're going to be in cover and everything's going to be fine. So from here, I almost went through the wrong door. I was getting a bit ahead of myself. We're going to go through the big door on the left, and just in case, we'll hack this this sort of curtain, blind, whatever you want to call it, window blocker device. And we're going to grab a few items as we're going through. Well, it was just kind of force of habit. There's no particular reason why you need to grab these items specifically. It was just that they were right in my path, and I've been playing this game on a separate playthrough, on a separate account, and grabbing everything, looting everything, playing the game properly and thoroughly. So it was just a bit of my sort of natural response kicking in. But we're going to try and get up to that vent. Now, the way to do this, of course, you want to stay crouched while you're jumping so you don't make noise. We're going to jump up to the top of it and then fall back and mash the square button so that as we're falling past it, it opens the door, and then we can jump back up and get inside. Now, we're going to make another save here. There are 3 guys in this room. I'll just bring up the smart vision here, which seems to be messing with my frame rate somehow. But there's one guy to the left that you just saw as my smart vision ran out. He's behind cover, he's not going to be a problem, and I think he stays there. There's a guy opposite that you can see moving now, and there's a guy below us. Now, once that guy below us moves to the left, we are going to drop down while remaining crouched after hacking the camera. I almost forgot about that. And the guy on the other side is still facing away from us, so we're going to drop down. No one can see us, then we're going to nice and quickly move around to this bit of cover. And you'll notice this here is kind of blocking anyone's view of us. Now you can see that guy at the far end. We were technically in his cone of vision, but because there was a wall between us, he couldn't see us. So that's what I meant earlier about the fact that the map, the icons of the enemies doesn't take into account any walls or cover or anything like that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're in someone's cone of vision, they can see you. They might be in a completely different room. Anyway, we are coming to the end of the mission now, guys. So there you have it. It's actually quite an easy one if you know what you're doing, if you know the route through the mission, or if you know the sort of layout of the areas. It's definitely one of those missions that could be a lot harder. The first time I did it, I was sort of trying to make my way through the bottom section, the bottom floor of the first area, which had loads of enemies, and there was lots of shortcuts, and I'm sure there's, some very useful routes through that section as well. But the way we took, bypassed everything, we didn't need to take out a single enemy during that, we didn't knock anyone out or anything. So that's ideal really, because it means we're absolutely guaranteed to not have any alarms or anything like that. So long as you chose Vega at the beginning of the mission, of course. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Come and join me for mission 14, 15, 16 and 17, all very soon. I'm going to get those up nice and quickly. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all very soon.
Come to meet me at the office?
He'll be waiting for you.